Uncover the hidden power within solitude to inspire personal growth. The call to silence, the first steps toward the unknown. Have you ever truly been alone? Not just in the physical sense but in the deepest layers of your being. In a world that constantly demands our attention, solitude has become a rarity. Almost a luxury. Yet, within this solitude lies the doorway to your most profound self, a version of you that is unshackled, untainted by the noise of the external world. But are you ready to face it? Imagine yourself stripped of distractions. Your phone. Your daily routines. Even your conversations. It feels like stepping into a void. Doesn't it? But here's the truth, the void isn't empty. It's full of whispers, whispers of who you are, what you've been avoiding, and who you could become. You might ask, why should I embrace solitude? The answer is deceptively simple yet infinitely complex, because within solitude lies the power to transform. When you're alone, you're not avoiding the world, you're confronting yourself. In solitude, you begin to understand that you are both the architect and the prisoner of your own mind. You'll notice how your thoughts wander, how they cling to fears, doubts, and regrets. Pay attention. These moments are not your enemies, they are your greatest teachers. Think of this, when was the last time you allowed yourself to feel bored without seeking an escape? What did that boredom tell you? Did it uncover a longing, a hunger, or perhaps a hidden fear? These feelings, uncomfortable as they may be, are signposts on the road to growth. In the early days of solitude, it's common to feel restless. The mind rebels, seeking comfort in distractions. This is where you must summon your courage. Sit with that restlessness. Breathe into it. Ask yourself, what am I running from? As the hours stretch, you may find your thoughts looping, replaying arguments, or fixating on unresolved desires. Do not resist them. Observe them as if they were clouds drifting across the sky of your mind. You are not your thoughts, you are the sky. Vast and unchanging. Here's a practice to anchor yourself. Sit in silence. Close your eyes. And focus on your breath. With each inhale, imagine drawing in clarity. With each exhale, release what no longer serves you. Do this until your mind begins to quiet. In that silence, ask yourself, who am I when no one is watching? Let me tell you a story. There was once a man who, tired of the chaos of the world, retreated to the mountains. For weeks, he struggled with his own mind, plagued by regrets and unspoken fears. But one day, in the stillness of a dawn, he heard nothing but the sound of his own breath. In that moment, he realized something profound. The answers he sought were not in the world but within himself. This realization isn't reserved for mystics or monks. It's available to you. Right now. In this very moment. But you must be willing to surrender to the solitude. To let it strip away the layers of illusion you've built around yourself. Ask yourself, if I removed all the roles I play, worker, parent, friend, who would I be? If I let go of every goal, every ambition, what would remain? The journey into solitude is not about losing yourself, it's about finding the self that cannot be lost. But this is only the beginning. You've opened the door. Now, are you ready to step through? The Silent Forge, How Solitude Shapes the Unbreakable Soul. When you step deeper into solitude, something extraordinary begins to happen. The initial restlessness subsides. like the turbulence of a storm giving way to the stillness of a calm sea. But what lies beneath this calm? Strength. Resilience. An unshakable core forged in the silent depths of your being. In this space, you no longer avoid your inner dialogue, you become its witness. The mind, unburdened by the distractions of the external world, begins to show you its raw essence. It reveals patterns, habits of thought that either propel you toward growth or keep you tethered to fear. Think of solitude as a forge and yourself as molten metal. The heat of silence melts away your false identities, your ego-driven masks. What remains is your essence, pure, unyielding, and ready to be shaped into something extraordinary. But the question remains, what shape will you choose for yourself? Consider this: every great transformation begins with discomfort. A caterpillar, before it becomes a butterfly, dissolves into a formless goo within its cocoon. It loses everything it once was to become something new. Are you willing to dissolve what you were to discover what you could be? Solitude pushes you to confront your fears. The fear of failure. The fear of judgment. The fear of being alone. These fears, when faced in silence, begin to lose their power. Why? Because you realize they are constructs of the mind. Illusions projected onto the screen of your consciousness. Here's a practice to deepen your journey: write down your fears. Every single one of them. Then sit with each fear and ask, is this true? Or is it a story I've been telling myself? You'll find that many of your fears crumble under the weight of honest introspection. But solitude isn't just about dismantling fears, it's also about discovering your inner voice. In the absence of external noise, your intuition begins to speak. It's a quiet, steady voice, often drowned out by the chaos of daily life. Listen to it. Ask it questions. What do I truly desire? What brings me joy? What is my purpose? Let me share another story. There was a young woman who sought answers to life's greatest questions. She traveled to distant lands, seeking wisdom from gurus and sages. But it was only when she spent a year in solitude, living in a small cabin by the sea, that she found what she was looking for. The answers were not in the teachings of others but in the whispers of her own heart. As you immerse yourself in solitude, you begin to see that the world outside is a reflection of the world within. Your relationships, your challenges, your triumphs, they are mirrors of your inner state. This realization is both humbling and empowering. It means that by transforming your inner world, you can transform your life. Ask yourself, if my outer life is a reflection of my inner state, what is it showing me? What changes must I make within to see the life I desire reflected back to me? Solitude also teaches you the value of presence. When you're alone, there's no one to impress, no roles to play. You are simply you. In this state, you realize that life's beauty is found not in grand achievements but in the small, quiet moments: the sound of the wind, the warmth of sunlight, the rhythm of your breath. Here's an exercise to cultivate presence. Spend an hour observing your surroundings without judgment or distraction. Notice the details: the texture of a leaf, the play of light and shadow, the hum of distant sounds. Let yourself be fully immersed in the now. The greatest gift of solitude is clarity. When the noise of the world fades away, you can finally hear the truth of your soul. You see your strengths, your passions, your calling. And with this clarity comes a profound sense of freedom, the freedom to live authentically, guided not by the expectations of others but by your own inner compass. But clarity comes with a challenge. It asks you to act. To align your life with the truths you've discovered. Are you ready to take that step? Are you ready to honor your authenticity? Even if it means walking a path that others may not understand. Solitude does not isolate you, it connects you to yourself. To others. To the universe. In solitude, you come to understand that you are not separate from the world but an integral part of its intricate tapestry. Your growth, your awakening, contributes to the collective evolution of humanity. As you sit in this silence, ask yourself, what legacy do I wish to leave behind? How will my personal growth inspire and uplift others? This is the silent forge. It burns away the unnecessary, the false, the fleeting, and leaves you with something unbreakable, a soul that is strong, clear, and aligned with its highest purpose. The symphony of oneness, returning to the world transformed. Emerging from solitude is like stepping out of a dense forest into an open meadow. The world feels different. Brighter. More alive, but the truth is, it's not the world that has changed. It's you. You carry with you the stillness, the clarity, and the profound insights born from your solitude. But how do you integrate this transformation into the chaos of everyday life? The first thing you'll notice is the heightened sensitivity. Colors seem more vibrant. Sounds richer. And even the simplest of moments hold an inexplicable beauty. This is the gift of presence. But here's the challenge, can you maintain this presence when life resumes its demands? Can you hold on to the stillness in the midst of noise? Begin by anchoring yourself. Just as a tree's roots hold it steady during a storm. Your practices from solitude, meditation, self-reflection, mindfulness, will keep you grounded. Dedicate even a few minutes each day to reconnect with the stillness you've cultivated. You may find that your relationships begin to shift. Some people will notice the change in you and be drawn to your newfound calm and clarity. Others may resist it, perhaps feeling threatened by the transformation they cannot yet understand. This is natural. Not everyone will walk this path with you. And that's okay. Ask yourself, am I willing to let go of relationships that no longer align with my growth? This doesn't mean abandoning people. Instead, it's an invitation to lead by example. Show them what it means to live authentically. To be at peace with oneself. Your transformation can be a beacon, inspiring others to embark on their own journeys. Another profound realization you may encounter is the interconnectedness of all things. In solitude, you learn that you are not separate from the world. Now, you see this truth mirrored in your interactions. The kindness you offer to a stranger. The patience you show to a loved one. The care you give to the earth, these are not isolated acts. They ripple outward, touching lives in ways you may never see. Ask yourself, how can I use my growth to serve others? What gifts have I uncovered in solitude that the world needs? But be cautious of the ego's trap. It's easy to fall into the illusion of superiority. To see yourself as more enlightened than those around you. True growth is humble. It recognizes that we are all on our own journeys. Each path equally valid and sacred. Remember this, the world will test your transformation. There will be moments when you're pulled back into old patterns. When the noise of the world drowns out the voice of your soul. These moments are not failures, they are opportunities. They remind you of the importance of returning to your inner sanctuary. Of strengthening the foundation you've built. Here's a practice for integration, at the end of each day. Reflect on your actions and thoughts. Did you act from a place of authenticity? Were you present? If not, What distracted you? Use these reflections not as judgments but as guideposts for the next day. Let me tell you one final story. A man, after years of solitude in a mountain monastery, returned to the bustling city. He was overwhelmed by the noise, the rush, the chaos. For a moment, he felt he had lost the peace he had cultivated. But then, in the middle of a crowded street, he closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and found the same stillness he had known in the mountains. The peace was never in the place, it was within him. You, too, carry this peace within you. It is your compass, your anchor, your guide. No matter where life takes you, no matter how loud or chaotic the world becomes, you can always return to it. The final gift of solitude is this: it teaches you that you are never truly alone. You are part of a symphony, a grand tapestry of existence where every thread, every note matters. Your growth contributes to the harmony of the whole. As you return to the world, ask yourself, how will I play my part in this symphony? What melody will I add to the song of life? And now, as you take this step forward, remember the power you hold. Within you lies the strength to face any storm, the wisdom to navigate any challenge, and the grace to inspire others simply by being yourself. The world needs this version of you. You are the symphony, the stillness, and the transformation. The journey never ends, it only deepens.